All right, so get this. We're going to take a deep dive today
Oh, cool.
into the street network of Baia Mare, Romania.
Wow, Romania. I've always wanted to go there.
You sent this article in by Ionut Maries,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's really got me thinking about how we look at cities like in a whole new way.
I know what you mean.
Like I've been looking at like my own city differently, even just walking around.
Well, what I think is so cool about this Ioni's work is that
Yeah.
he uses spatial analysis to uncover all these hidden patterns
Oh,
in a city's layout.
that's really cool.
It's like, he's a senior urban development consultant, and he's been working all across the European Union
Oh, wow.
on things like smarter cities and transportation systems.
So he really knows his stuff.
Yeah, and even has his own podcast, too.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Well, today we're going to take his research and dive deep with you.
Sounds good.
So, forget about like all those typical city planning maps.
Yeah,
The ones with like all the zoning and stuff. We're talking about the streets themselves.
that's cool.
So we're going to use Baia Mare as our case study to see how arranging the streets can actually reveal a city's history.
Really?
Yeah, and like its personality and even its potential for like the future.
So it's like reading a city's fingerprint.
Exactly. Like we're going to be decoding Baia Mare today.
All right, I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
Okay, so first up, we've got this great visual to work with. So take a look at this image of Baia Mare's street network.
Okay, I see it.
What jumps out at you right away?
Well, you can definitely see a difference between the north and the south parts of the city.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, the south, which is like the main city area, it has that classic dense grid pattern.
Yes. My city's historic downtown has a similar grid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it just makes you think about how those streets, all tight-knit must developed like centuries ago.
Organically over time.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Right.
Yeah, the density usually points to a more planned development,
Mhm.
like with good connectivity between different parts of the city.
Oh, that makes sense. But then up north.
Things get a lot more spread out.
Yeah, and that makes sense as cities expand outward, right?
Right.
The development tends to be more spread out. You get those less connected neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But let's zoom back in for a second.
Okay.
Do you notice anything interesting around the food market?
You mean near the old town?
Yeah.
You're talking about that radial street pattern?
Yes.
Coming out from that central roundabout?
Yeah.
That's so classic.
I know is.
Like a classic indicator of concentrated activity.
It is.
Think about it. In older cities, everything revolved around the market,
Right.
So naturally you have those spokes drawing people in.
Which I bet in modern times probably means traffic jams.
Oh, for sure.
That roundabout, I bet, gets crazy.
Oh, yeah. It must be hectic during rush hour.
Yeah, and the article even mentions that area as being prone to congestion.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
It's all connected.
It is.
And while just looking at this map can give us some clues, the real magic happens when we start applying these more specialized spatial analyses. Ooh, okay, so let's level up.
Let's do it.
All right, the article focuses on 3 types of analysis: spatial integration, spatial choice, and HILC.
Okay.
So what is the big idea here?
So basically, we're taking the street network
Yeah.
and we're turning it into a data set,
Whoa.
like a mathematical graph.
Okay.
We're going beyond that visual layout, and we're focusing on how easily you can move from point A to point B. It's like how connected everything really is. It's like we're putting the city under an X-ray,
Oh, wow.
revealing patterns we couldn't see before.
Okay, I am intrigued.
Good.
Let's start with spatial integration.
Okay.
What does that tell us?
Think of it like a popularity contest for streets.
How fun.
So spatial integration measures how well each street segment is connected to all the other streets in the network. So a high score means it's easy to get to that street from a lot of different points in the city.
So more connections.
Yeah. And that makes it a natural hub for activity.
Oh, that makes sense.
So a street with high spatial integration is kind of like the popular kid in school,
Oh, yeah, everyone wants to hang out there.
Exactly.
And we can actually see this playing out in Baia Mare, right?
Right. We could, check out this image and this animation of Baia Mare's spatial integration analysis.
Wow.
See how the city center just lights up?
It does.
It's like a Christmas tree.
It does.
Those streets are highly integrated, which makes them prime locations for pedestrian traffic.
It makes perfect sense if people can easily walk there from all directions.
Right.
Those streets are going to be buzzing.
Totally. City planners must love data like this.
They must.
It's like having a roadmap for creating walkable, vibrant urban spaces.
Yeah.
You know, if you know which streets have high pedestrian potential,
Yeah.
you can invest in things like wider sidewalks,
Yeah.
comfortable benches.
Oh, yeah. And like strategically place trees, for shade.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine strolling down a street designed for people.
Not just cars. Now I'm thinking about my own city. I bet the area around our main park,
Yeah,
with all its little cafes and shops, would have a really high spatial integration score.
I bet.
Where do you think the most integrated streets would be in your city?
Oh, the area around our central library,
Yeah,
people coming from the surrounding neighborhoods, the university campus, even tourists. It's like a crossroads for the entire city.
Yeah, wow. And this is where it gets really interesting. The article highlights that areas with high integration within a 400-meter radius, so about a 5-minute walk, are perfect for mixed-use development.
Oh, that's cool. So you've already got that walkability factor built in.
Yeah.
So you can create these vibrant, self-contained neighborhoods where people can live, work, and play without having to rely heavily on cars.
That's a key ingredient for sustainable urban design.
It is.
Wow, this spatial integration stuff is really making me rethink my own neighborhood.
I know, it's amazing.
All right, let's move on to spatial choice. It sounds like this one is all about efficiency, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So if spatial integration is about popularity, think of spatial choice as the city's circulatory system.
Okay.
So it measures how likely a street is to be part of the shortest route between 2 points.
So high spatial choice streets are like the city's main arteries.
Yes.
Carrying the bulk of the traffic flow.
Exactly.
Okay, and I'm guessing we can see this visually too.
Oh, you bet. Look at this image and animation.
Wow.
No surprises here. The main boulevards in Baia Mare are lit up like highways.
They are.
They're the go-to routes for getting around.
Yeah.
Which means they need to be designed to handle that volume efficiently.
Okay, and that's where things get tricky.
What do you mean?
I remember the article had a surprising take on widening roads.
Oh, yeah.
You'd think wider roads would equal less traffic.
Yeah.
But it's not that simple, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, it's like trying to solve your closet clutter by buying a bigger closet.
Oh.
You're just delaying the inevitable.
That's such a good analogy.
I know, right? So widening roads might temporarily ease congestion, but it also tends to encourage more car use, which ultimately makes the problem worse.
So what's the solution then? If we can't just keep widening roads forever, how do we make these high-choice arteries work better?
Well, the article points to a multi-pronged approach.
Okay.
And it starts with efficient public transport.
Okay, so like dedicated bus lanes.
Yeah.
Maybe even light rail.
Exactly.
That could like whisk people along those routes quickly and reliably.
Yeah, we need to give people real alternatives to driving.
Especially for those longer trips.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Along those major boulevards.
Yeah.
So we're enticing people out of their cars and onto more sustainable modes of transport.
Exactly.
But it's not just about public transport, is it?
No, it's not.
The article also emphasized multimodal options.
Absolutely. We need to make it safe and convenient to walk or bike along those high-choice streets, too.
Okay, so that means like wide, inviting sidewalks, protected bike lanes, clear signage for everyone.
Yes. It's about creating a system where all modes of transportation are respected.
And seamlessly integrated.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's not about prioritizing one mode of transportation over another. It's about giving people choices and creating a truly balanced and efficient system.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
We've covered spatial integration and spatial choice, but there's one more analysis type we need to unpack. Bring on the HILC streets.
All right. HILC stands for High Integration and Low Choice.
Okay.
Think of these as the hidden gems.
Ooh.
The streets with untapped potential just waiting to be unlocked.
I like it.
So they're well connected.
Okay.
Easy to get to. But they're not the main thoroughfares. They don't see a ton of traffic.
So they're like the quiet kids in the back of the class who are actually brilliant.
Yes.
But just need the right opportunity to shine.
Exactly. You get it. We can see them clearly in these visuals of Baia Mare.
Oh, cool.
Notice how they often form these interesting patterns.
I do.
Running parallel to those high-choice arteries. Or connecting different neighborhoods in a less direct way.
So they're off the beaten path, but they're still highly accessible.
Exactly.
I'm getting excited just thinking about the possibilities.
You too.
So how do we unlock their potential? What can be done to transform these HILC streets into something special.
That's where the real creativity comes in, because they're not burdened by heavy traffic.
Yeah.
HILC streets are the perfect canvases for creating new points of interest.
Okay.
So think mixed-use development, small shops and restaurants,
Of it.
co-working spaces, even residential units.
Yeah.
Imagine turning these underutilized spaces into vibrant community hubs.
So we're spreading out the activity and the vibrancy, taking some of the pressure off of those busy city centers, giving people more reasons to explore different parts of the city.
I love it.
I know, it's great.
But it's not just about development, is it?
No, you're right. The article also talked about creating inviting public spaces.
Yeah, like what?
So these streets are ideal for pocket parks.
Yeah.
Community gardens.
Love it.
Public art installations.
I'm on board.
Even outdoor seating areas for cafes and restaurants.
I can see it now.
So we're talking about transforming these streets from mere thoroughfares into destinations in their own right.
I love that. I'm starting to see HILC streets everywhere now.
Really?
Yeah, there's that street near my house that connects the library to the park.
Okay.
It's got a couple of shops.
Yeah.
But it's mostly just a cut-through for cars.
I see what you mean.
What if it was transformed into a pedestrian-friendly zone?
Yeah.
With a little farmer's market on the weekends?
That'd be cute.
Or some cool murals to brighten things up?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And because these streets are already well connected to the rest of the network, people can easily get there. Whether they're walking, biking, or taking public transport.
Exactly.
It's all starting to click.
Yeah.
These spatial analyses give us a whole new way of seeing our cities, of understanding how they work, and of imagining how they could be even better.
I know, me too.
We've covered a lot of ground so far.
We have.
But there's still more to uncover.
You're right. In part 2, we'll dive into the specific recommendations that came out of these analyses for Baia Mare.
Okay.
We'll see how these insights can be translated into actionable plans to create a more sustainable, livable, and equitable city.
Oh, cool.
For everyone.
Awesome. I'm ready for part 2. This is truly mind-blowing stuff.
I know.
Who knew that simply looking at streets could be so fascinating?
Sometimes the most valuable insights are hidden in plain sight.
They are. They are.
All right, we'll be right back with part 2 after a short break.
Sounds good.